Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick little time out. Okay, back at it again. So right now I'm talking to my man's uh Mr. Sideshow. I'm letting him know how this works, how my podcasts are doing, and like how I've been going on about it, and like I need this man to end up popping on one of my fucking podcasts. Like he needs to be one of my fucking guests already. Like me and this dude, when we end up chilling, always a fucking blast, cause we talk about like some of the dumbest shit. Something about like the dumbest shit, but at the same time, we're always learning from each other. We're always talking about some shit that, either I gotta open my mind and think about, or he opens his mind and thinks about. And I'm trying to get him on this podcast. I need him to hop on my podcast because it's like, hey, I love when I have guests on here. Like when I have a guest on here with me, you never know what the fuck is gonna happen. Like this, as you saw in the first fucking video with Mr. Snorlax and Mr. Ginger Nut. Like, you saw how we ended up going back and forth, talking about different movies and different roles in movies and shit like that. And it's like, we talked, it was like 45 minutes, almost an hour, just arguing about fucking Titanic. Which, I'm putting out there, the movie was trash. Like, who has time in their life to be fucking sitting there watching not one, but two fucking VHSs? You know what I'm saying? VHSs, because when I was younger, that's how that shit was. Everything came out on fucking VHS, on a video cassette. And it's like, that movie was so long they had to put it on 2 tapes. Now, if you've never seen Titanic, let me stop y'all right now. Make sure you have like a month of vacation or fucking like literally nothing going on in your life, because that movie is so fucking long. Like, it's so long. And for what? For no reason. Like, if they took out all the bullshit that wasn't needed in that movie and just left it about the ship, it'd be like a half-hour movie, if that. It'd be a fucking special on Discovery or on the History Channel if they got rid of all the stupid bullshit that wasn't needed in the movie. Fucking like, alright, here's a good comparison. Titanic had Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio in it, among a bunch of other names. I'm not going to get into it, but it had a lot of names in that movie. No, that was like a 3 hour and some odd minute movie. I'm pretty sure it was over 3 hours. It had to be. That's why it was on two fucking VHSs. But it's like, then you have another Leonardo DiCaprio film, Wolf of Wall Street. Great fucking movie. Great movie. It was hilarious. There was a bunch of fucking narcotics in it and shit. I'm smoking right now. So yeah, it definitely got my fucking interest. It had like Jonah Hill in it. And it had a lot more other names in it. Definitely like if you have like 3.5 hours to kill, like, and you have nothing to do, like let's say you have like 3 hours before work or some shit like that, or you can't find anything to watch at night, look up Wolf of Wall Street and watch that shit. Like there's learning points in that movie. There is, like I said, it was a great movie. So I mean, I liked it. It was. It's definitely more for the mature people than I'd say like the youngins. I wouldn't let my son watch this shit, even though he ended up watching Braveheart with me. Don't judge me. Let me explain. So I'm watching it, and he sits down and he's watching that shit with me. Granted, there is a lot of gore and violence in it. It's Mel Gibson movie, but he loved that shit. Every time freedom was yelled, little man's tossing up his hands. Freedom! It was great. It was a very proud moment for me. But like the Patriot, like I said in previous podcasts, he did not like that shit. All the gunshots and gunfire and the cannons and all that shit. He did not like that. But he loves watching like explosions and crash scenes and shit like that in movies. But he did not like the Patriot. That one, he wasn't even in the room watching it with me. He was in the next room sleeping. And I'm watching it, and he could hear, like, he woke up from the sound of all the war going on, all the gunfire back and forth and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, he didn't like that shit. But I digress. If you have, like I was saying, if you have 3 hours to kill, definitely watch Wolf of Wall Street. It was a really good movie. DiCaprio still didn't win a fucking Oscar for it. This man has been acting my whole life. He started off in Growing Pains, if y'all remember that, with Kirk Cameron, Michael Jibber. DiCaprio made his start in Growing Pains. A lot of people didn't know that. Those that ended up watching it knows that about him, but he has not won an Oscar up until the movie The Revenant. I don't know if everybody out here saw it, but that was a great fucking movie. Like, how he acted and played the role in that movie, it would have been a shame if he didn't fucking win an Oscar for that shit. And no, I'm not a movie critic. Like, I'm not a movie critic, but I'm a fucking movie buff. I love my movies and shit. And that was a great movie. Like, it had my attention the whole movie. And that movie was like 2.5 hours long, something like that. A little over 2 to 2.5 hours long. Great fucking movie. But Titanic was trash. Like the story behind the actual ship, yeah, it's a great story. But and it was very tragic. Like the fact that they built a ship that big, uh, back in that time was incredible. That was a huge accomplishment back then. But it when they made it into a movie, they made it into a romance drama, pretty much. And so the main point of that movie was about the ship sinking. All that shit got lost in the midst of their fucking love romance that was going on. And that for me killed the whole movie because they were just pretty much talking or just showing that whole love affair going on. Now, if you're sitting here watching this or listening to this, and you go, goddamn, Jibber Jabber Jim, you just spoiled that shit for me. You ruined the fucking movie. I've never seen that movie, and you just ruined it for me. Well, that movie came out back in the 90s. If you haven't fucking seen it, you're not gonna watch that shit now. It's fucking about to be 2020. Nobody has time like that to be sitting there watching some shit like that. Like, when you hear Titanic, you automatically think of this shit. I don't know why I just wasted like fucking 10 minutes talking about this shit. I fucking fuck Titanic. Like I said, it was tragic that it's such a huge accomplishment was defeated by an iceberg. All because they already set a record for building a ship such as that, and for being able to go from Europe all the way over to the United States. That was going to be a huge accomplishment back then. I believe it was like 1917 that Titanic was made. I'm not 100% sure, so I do not want to hear any bullshit for going. If I'm going through the comments and you go like, "Fuck you, Jibber Jabber Jim," it was like in 1915 or 1928 or whatever. I do not have the exact year. I'm going off of what I remember, and I'm pretty sure it was around 1915 or 1917, something like that. If I had my dude Snorlax here, he would definitely know for sure. But yeah, so yeah, the hell with that movie. The hell with that movie. But seeing how we're already on the topic and I've already wasted so much of your life talking about that shit. Let's brainstorm a little bit. Let's do some creative thinking. If Titanic, like I said, it ended up sinking because it hit an iceberg and it damaged the vessel to where it took on way too much water and it started to sink. What would have happened? How would life be different if Titanic made it? Like, if it didn't hit an iceberg, like if the people were fucking paying attention like they were supposed to be, and they didn't hit the iceberg, they would have made history for being that first ship to end up making a trek like that with the size and capacity of it. It was already breaking records just for it being built. But let's just say they made it all the way to New York like they were supposed to. There goes that fucking movie. That's for sure. um, but it's like it. How would everything be different? Like, would more and more ships be made like that? Would would it be that big of a deal that if they did make it, like, yeah, it's a huge accomplishment, but I mean, would it change our everyday lives? I don't think so. I really don't. But we'll never know. That's something that we can just speculate on. And speaking of speculating, brings me to my next point. Do y'all believe in spirits and ghosts and like apparitions? Do you think like hauntings exist and stuff like that? Do you think that stuff is real? And uh if you do, it's like you're not alone. My house is fucking haunted. This place is haunted. Um, when you hear footsteps, but yet nobody's there. You hear doors open and close, especially after they're locked doors. Having a locked door open on you when no one is around is very fucking terrifying. Especially because it's an older door. The lock on it is fucking like that shit is stupid. The way that you gotta try and open it. There's no way that the wing could have did it, or the door wasn't fully latched over, or whatever. No, it's definitely bone chilling. And those of you that don't believe in it, tell me what. Why don't y'all think that ghosts and whatnot are real? Like, are you just that much of an asshole to where you go like, nah, once you're dead, that's it? Or, are you the type of person like me that, if there's a spirit or an aura or something like that that is still around or present, is it something to investigate or to tamper with? Is it a good idea to end up like, alright, like I said, my house is haunted. So would it be a good idea to end up setting up like a camera in the middle of the night to end up seeing if I, catch anything on camera, or, write a note. Let's say I wrote a note asking, who was here, or is there somebody here, and just leaving two boxes, one saying yes, one saying no, and just wait a couple days or whatever to see if there is like an actual response on it. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to fuck with it. That's for sure. I'm just, I'm trying to find out more. I'm trying to figure out why there would be a spirit or spirits here. Like, I would want to know what their purpose is still sticking around would be. And because me and my lady live in, we ended up buying my grandfather's house, and my grandmother died in the house. My grandfather lived in this house my whole life, and you know, after his passing and everything, uh, I was telling people about how it's haunted, how I hear shit and see shit like that, and everyone's just like, "Oh, it's your grandfather." He's just looking out and everything, just keeping watch on them. Now, if that's the case, it's like, I know it's not. I don't think that there's a bad spirit here or an evil spirit or entity, just because it's like, not other than like lights flickering at the same time every single day, several times a night. There's specific times if you will see the lights start to dim, and then they'll take and flicker a few times. Okay, you know, there is like spirits tend to drain the batteries out of shit. It uses up energy whenever they're trying to manifest or do something like that. And so it's like my grandfather is just like me, or was just like me. Doesn't sleep, fucking up all hours of the night and everything like that. And it's like he would have a routine every single night, at different times throughout the night. He would end up walking out into the kitchen, and he'd just end up looking out the kitchen window out onto the street and shit, just looking at the yard and looking around the neighborhood, make sure everything's on the up and up. And the times that he would end up going into the kitchen every night, that's when my lights in the kitchen take a flicker. Isn't my grandfather being there? Maybe. Is it, maybe my grandmother or somebody else? Maybe. But I don't know. There's a lot of skeptics out there, so I know this topic should definitely, stir up a lot of conversation, because not everybody believes in it, and those that do believe in it, they're either going to, encourage me to keep finding out more or trying to dig deeper to see what I do find. And then you got those other people that do believe, that go like, stop fucking with it, all this and that, just leave them be, let them rest. And it's like, how can I let them rest if they're not letting me rest? This shit happened in the middle of the fucking night in my house, right in the other room when my fucking son is sleeping. Now, like I said, I haven't been pushed down the stairs or anything like that. So, I do not feel like, it is a bad, bad spirit in the house, if you will. And if it is my grandfather just watching over me, like, I don't know, if my grandfather is here with me, I'd like to know it. It's like, I miss my grandfather. He was my best friend. But yeah, if he's here or if there is a spirit here, let's see if we can have some footage. I don't know, turn my phone off, or shut the music off. Do something to let me know that you're here. And I'm not saying it, to provoke anything. That's the last thing that I want is fucking one of hell's gates to come flying open and, me be on the receiving end of whatever the fuck it decides to let out. No, that's not what I'm saying. But, for my sake, for peace of mind, I want to know. And you might call me crazy. Some might even say insane for doing this shit. But it's my house. I like knowing what the fuck goes on in my house. So it's like, if there is something here, I'll just, I don't know, I sort of feel like, alright, have y'all seen fucking Casper? If not, fucking, y'all need to get with the times. And if you have seen Casper, then we're about to talk about some shit. Like, like, maybe I'm like Cat's dad, and maybe I'm just trying to fucking make them find out why they're still here. What's their purpose, or what's their reasoning? Like, if there's something that I could end up doing for, my grandfather or whatever type of spirit is in my house, I would like to be able to help it. If I could put you at rest or ease, like, he was trying to do, I would love to be able to do that. So it's like, the paranormal, it's, like I said, it's a very touchy subject with a lot of people. But, I'd like to know. And, who knows? Who knows? Maybe something will happen. Maybe when I'm going back, going through all my editing and everything of this video, maybe I'll like pick up something, that, the regular ear can't hear, or there might be something in the fucking footage, who knows? Who knows? But I mean, is that something y'all would do? Would y'all ever be a ghost hunter, if you will? Is anybody out there, seeking answers or guidance from another realm? I'm not talking about no demonic shit. Like, if that's what you do, if that's what you're into, cool. It's not what I'm into. I don't want that, like, paranormal shit. I don't want nobody climbing up my walls and looking at me from the ceiling and shit. Like, hell no. But, yeah, I'd definitely like to know. It would, I mean, I would definitely feel a lot better if I knew what it was, or, if there is actually something here. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll talk about that shit when it comes, won't we? But chilling, chilling, and just finished smoking as y'all saw. And hell yeah, I'm chilling. You know, something I was thinking about last night. I have two steel rods in my back. I got into a really bad sledding accident when I was younger, and it messed my back up. Like, I was in pain 24/7 for almost 3.5 years. Every day, just constantly in pain. So I have a high tolerance for pain. Um, but I was thinking last night, I was talking to some of my coworkers about it, and I wonder how my life would be if I didn't get this operation. If I didn't go through all that physical therapy and all that rehab, how to live my life with the metal in my back after surgery. How would my life be if I didn't have it? Would I be, in a wheelchair the rest of my life? That's something that the doctors ended up saying, that my back was just progressively, you know, getting worse, and it's like eventually, if I didn't have the operation or whatever, yeah, more than likely I'd be wheelchair bound. But it's like everything, like, if I had to do it over, would I? I mean, it was every day, every single day is, I'm not gonna say a struggle, but every day is, a new challenge. Every day that I'm alive with this metal in my back, it gives me pretty much a second chance. It allows me to do majority of the things I want to. Like there is a big list of things that I cannot do and will not be able to do for the rest of my life, but I've come to terms with those. I've accepted that. But it's not gonna mean that I'm gonna stop living my life the way I want to live my life. But if they came up with this deal, like if they called me, all right, let's say they give me a call and they go like, hey, Mr. Jibber Jabber, we have a new type of steel that is flexible. That if we go in and take the steel rods out of your back that we placed in your back almost 10 years ago, it's going to be my 10-year anniversary come September 13th. It'll be 10 years that I've had metal in my back. If they called me and told me that, they have a steel, they came up with a type of steel that's flexible to where I'd have full range of motion with my back. All you gotta do is come in, have another operation, and then go through that year of fucking rehab again. Would I do it? No way. Absolutely not. And I know you're probably going like, but Jim, you have one son, about to have a second. Wouldn't you want, full range of motion? That way you could do whatever you want with your boys. Yeah, it sounds great. But at the same time, that operation, it wasn't life changing just for me. But everyone else in my life, it took a toll on because it's like nobody nobody has ever seen me in that much pain. It was a struggle. It was a struggle every day, you know, to just roll over out of bed, put my pants and shoes on. Like my life definitely changed after I ended up getting the medal on my back. And I'm grateful to Shriners. I'm grateful to Shriners Hospital because I didn't pay a dime for that. And they did an incredible job. You know, they gave me my second chance. But would I go back and do it all over again if they told me, they have a steel that's flexible so I could end up moving my back and everything? I couldn't do it. Um, it was it was real hard on my family. My family, I was constantly in pain, and I still am in pain every day. Every day I can feel my back, but no, it definitely hurt a lot of people with the type of pain and suffering that I was going through. Like it was a struggle, no bullshit. Like to just roll over in bed. Like there's a while that I had to have somebody help me out with, just turning over or with, putting my pants on or putting shoes on or something like that. It was a struggle. And, thinking about it, like if you've never had to go through a rehab or something like that, physical therapy to where you had to literally learn how to relive your life. It's a lot harder than, I mean, it's definitely something that people don't think about, just putting your pants on the TV, one leg and then the other leg. But when you have metal in your back and you can't bend like somebody who doesn't have metal in their back, yeah, it definitely makes it harder. Um, and yeah, I've always said it, and I'm still gonna say it. No, I won't. I will never do another operation like that. It was scary enough the first time. There were a lot of factors that went into it, but yeah, I couldn't do it. There's no way I'd be able to do it again, and I'm not saying that if technology ever gets to that point, I'm not telling those of you that have that opportunity to do it. I'm not saying not to do it. My life is definitely better since I had that operation, but no, I could not do it again. I would not do it again. And it's like I think about my family and everyone that helped me with that, helped me recover, and even everybody that's in my life now, everybody that knows about it or helps out with it and everything like that. I appreciate the hell out of it, and I love everybody that helps me out and helped me along the way with recovery. But no, I wouldn't be able to do it again. And it's like I know there's gonna be some things that my boys are gonna want to end up doing as they get older, and I'll be able to do almost everything with them that they want to do, but I'm gonna have limitations, and I just I don't want to. I don't want to like disappoint them and be like, "Oh, sorry, Junior, like, Daddy wants to go play some football with you, but I can't." No, I don't want to do that. Like, yeah, I can still play football, but if you tackle me and I go down, like, if I play tackle football, nope, that's the end of old Jim Bones right here. If, like, even if I go, like, uh, if I go skateboarding or rollerblading or something like that, and I fall, like, if I fall on my ass, if I fall, then the metal on my back potentially could end up coming up out the backside of my neck. And like I said, that'll be a wrap on old Jim Bones. Like, there's no way that a band aid is gonna end up fixing that. So, it's like there's. The positive is I had my life, I have my health, um, and I am in a lot less pain than I originally was. But the downside of it is, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do everything that I want to end up doing. Like, even if I want to jump on a trampoline, if I fall wrong, or if I, like, let's say I do a flip or something like that and I land wrong, that's, yeah, that takes a huge toll on me. Like, roller coasters, or, yeah, especially roller coasters. I love going on roller coasters. But, with all the shaking and shit like that on the roller coaster, like, I have the potential to hurt myself every single time. That risk is always there that, you know, something could go wrong, and I'm not trying to, I don't want to be put in a wheelchair for the rest of my life because, I wanted to bounce on a trampoline or whatever, but like I do wish they had the technology where they had the steel that is flexible to where I still had full range in my back, but the fact that I can still get up and walk around, that's the biggest thing. And I will forever be grateful for all the time and effort and skills and work that got, dedicated towards me to being able to live the life that I want to. So, I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, if you will, but I don't know. I mean, it sucked at first. Like, those of you that have scoliosis or spinal bifida or stuff like that, I feel for y'all. I really do, because after I ended up hitting that tree, my life changed forever. And it's like having back pain that's serious shit. You know, if you injure your back, then it's like you have the potential to not uh, being paralyzed, pretty much. If you hurt your back, you know, you could either be paralyzed or end up losing your life from it. And no, I don't want that. You know, I don't want to keep that thought of, you know, I could end up doing this and be permanently fucked for the rest of my life. But I don't think about it like that. I think about, okay, you know, alright, today's the day. We're about to go do something huge. And I still do big things. Like, you know, I don't stop living my life because I have limitations, but it it makes me look at shit. Makes me put things into perspective a little bit more. So it's yeah, it's like I said, you know, it's a tough subject. It really is. Um, and yeah, I'm just grateful for, like I said, everything that was done for me, and to be able to sit here and tell you guys about it, lost for words. It really is. Like, after I had my surgery, I was in the hospital for 4 days. Well, technically 3.5 days, because I left on the fourth day after surgery. I left that fourth morning after surgery. Day two, I was after surgery. I was already up, walking around, and like I was dedicated. I didn't want to. I didn't want to be stuck in a hospital bed. I don't want to, you know, have to live my life in a wheelchair. You know, I know there are plenty of people out there that do end up living in a wheelchair, and it's like a lot of y'all have great lives, but it's like I know some of you guys struggle a lot. Every day it's a struggle, and I get that. I'm just you gotta look at the bright side. You know, yeah, you might be sitting out there wheelchair bound for the rest of your life or something like that. But at the same time, you have to think about it like, hey, you know, yeah, I'm stuck in this chair for the rest of my life. But at least you still have your life. You know, it's like, so every day above ground is a good day. And yeah, on that note, I'm going to conclude this episode. This was another great episode of Jibber Jabber with yours truly, Jim. So I will talk to you all later. Yeah, I'll probably, like I said, today's my day off. So I'm probably going to get a couple of videos and recordings done today. So till next time, this was Jibber Jabber with Jim, signing off.